Clerk Kimberly, can you take roll, please?
President Bogus Matt.
Here.
Vice President Carrie Nicholson.
Here.
Secretary Lisa Middleton.
Here.
Treasurer Larry Williams. Trustee Brent Dawson.
Here.
Trustee Shauna Gamble.
Here.
Trustee Richard Lindsay.
Here.
Okay, we will observe our customary moment of silence. Brent, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Members of the audience may address the board on agenda items only. See no one moving forward. We will move on to academic highlights. Girls Hood Code Michigan Youth Challenge Academy.
Hi, good evening. I'm Rhonda Markham. I'm the administrator out at Youth Challenge Academy. And I get the pleasure of introducing 3 of our females tonight and our teacher. So Mrs. Ewing, she is the computer information systems teacher, does an amazing job. Cadet Kyle, Cadet Mo, and Cadet Fawaz. And I will say that all 3 of them have completed their work. As long as they finish cycle, they'll earn their diplomas. Go ahead, Mr. Bray. Oh.
Okay, so, yeah.
Alright, so these are the top 6 computer science jobs of today's society. You have you have software developer, you have database administrator, computer hardware engineering, and computer systems and analysis, and computer network architect and web development. And these are some of like the certificates, certifications you can get in some of these jobs.
In our class, we take a certified test, and if we pass it, we get certification from Microsoft. And this cadet just got certified, and she got Microsoft World certified. So.
Wow, nice job.
So this was literally the day Ms. Ewing came to us about the presentation, and we literally like finished it the day of. So we got right to it, and this is a picture of us, doing it. Just gonna take a picture of it, and yeah.
That's great.
This is one of the projects that we worked on. We all wanted to know how a word search puzzle was made, and so we used Excel, and we all made like one of our own. This was the one that Fawaz made. Yeah.
After we finished it, Ms. Ewing printed it out for us, and we gave it to like the cadre, and they tried solving it, and it was fun. And we also, in the class, we have some days we do coding games, and this was one of the coding games we did. Yeah, it was fun.
This is like a word pie chart, and we basically went off our schedule of at the NYCA and what we do on a daily basis, and we just gave like some grades to see like studying, transportation, March, Votech, and all other varieties of stuff we do there.
This was, the governor came and visited us and talked about like the program and about how she wanted to open another one, and like about how she was inspired by what we were doing, and it was really nice to be able to talk to like, because we have to know like everybody's name, and we have to memorize it all, and we have to know like everything about them. So it was nice to be able to talk to and see the people that we have to like learn about and like have them interact with us. It was cool.
She came into our math class, and she just wanted to talk to all of us, ask us questions, and she was very cool.
And for you guys who don't know, that's on the road, Bridgewood.
And then I'm just gonna bring up the fact, and ladies have done a great job explaining so many things. With the Microsoft certifications we talked about in the beginning, the funding was vetoed in a line item with the budget. So we're thankful at the moment that Certiport and Microsoft have graciously given us enough, hopefully, to get through this semester or this cycle. So, but it's really, really important that we can get this IT education grant back. It's hard. I click. Because it means so much to us. This is a program that's provided free to us as a district. And Microsoft and Certiport all come together, and through the state, it's been a really important program they've been doing for several years. So again, the return on the investment is so important. We want these students to have every opportunity to earn certifications. Go ahead. We are going to the Capitol next month with the Student Technology Showcase. We did attend last year. This is a picture of the previous cycle. Well, it would be 2 cycles ago in December. And everyone that applies, if they're invited, they set up a table for a couple hours and talk to all the different people that come through the Capitol, many of our senators and representatives. So it's fascinating to see who attends, and then of course a lot of family members like to come. Last year we had such bad weather that a lot of people couldn't make it, but we're looking forward. We have been invited back this year. And again, this is a picture with Senator Knopf. We were able to visit with him right after. So if anybody wants to come see us, it's from 1:30. I think we'll get it on the next slide.
It was the last one.
Yes. Our session, we will be on the floor at 1:30 to 2:45, but we are going to be going earlier in the day so the girls can see other examples, because it's all kinds. It's elementary through high school, and there might be some community college even. But it really is a great way for students to see what's going on in so many schools. And again, they get to meet more people and showcase what we're doing. And on a positive note, I want you to know that these particular cadets are continuing to learn and share their ideas of what we do in class every day. And also, 2 out of 3 of these cadets were surveyed saying they were good at anything but computers. But look at what they can do. Look at how they can speak, and I think they're learning that computers are not as scary, or they're understanding things more and more. So again, we're very proud to bring them here tonight and let them share what's going on with you. So thank you.
Anybody want to ask me any questions?
Yeah, I do. MJ, how many certifications have our cadets earned since you started doing this? And how many of those cadets are represented in that?
So are you talking when I brought the program in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had the numbers. It averages 20 some, I think, a cycle, and then when we got VOTEC, because there's a computer class out there, and that we were able to offer the technology associate, so it could average 35 per cycle or more. And of course, many students take it. Not everyone always earns, but we try and give them as many opportunities and work on things. So really, even if they don't earn it, it's such a great learning opportunity.
Well, I just want you to know, and cadets also, you were on Governor Snyder's radar in regards to getting certifications in Microsoft Word. And so it's an important statistic that we're watching across the state on whether or not our students are actually earning these certificates and going on to bigger and better jobs available to them in the future. So congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
I can tell you it's one of the skills that we always look at when we're looking at resumes and things like that for jobs. So having the core skills of computer technology, especially Microsoft, is just a huge piece and gives you guys a leg up as you move forward. So good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Great. Thank you all.
And earning their certifications in Microsoft earns them more college credit. through KCC.
Oh, awesome. Okay, we'll move on to consent agenda. Do you want to give background on probably E and F?
Oh, just E is Michigan Association of School Boards offers several opportunities throughout the year for school board members to attend training sessions. You guys get the mailings or emails that come in. Hi Larry, how are you?
I'm fine.
I knew you slipped in. Authorization is being sought to allow board members who may choose to attend workshops and/or classes to do so during the 2020 calendar year. Each year we review that, we approve it. If you guys want to sign up, just let us know. Run it through Kimberly and she'll get it set up for you. And then the other one is I'm requesting to attend the MASA Winter Conference, January 24th to the 22nd to the 24th in Detroit this year. It's the recommendation of the superintendent that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
May I entertain a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
Okay. Any discussion? I think we'll learn more about the employment in your report of superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Yes.
other questions or comments? Okay, start with Richard.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Great. Move on to report of the superintendent, special recognition, new hires.
Yes, we have just two right now. Jared Ransom fills the position of positive behavior support specialist at Gordon Elementary. Mr. Ransom holds a bachelor's degree from Cornerstone University with a major in music composition. Joanne Seymour fills the position of noon hours supervisor at Gordon Elementary. Ms. Seymour is a graduate of Jackson Public Schools.
Okay, move on to Marshall FFA achievements.
Laura? Go.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Laura Finch, and I'm currently serving as the agri-science instructor here at Marshall Public Schools, and I'm also the FFA advisor.
I'm Andrew Kiesling. I am a 2018 graduate.
I'm Audrey Richardson. I'm serving as this year's historian. I'm Maddie Pritchard. I'm a senior at Marshall High School.
And we're here tonight, we're just gonna present just a very short little bit about FFA and agri-science education, and then we're gonna highlight our trip to National FFA Convention. That's the main gist of it. But for anybody in the audience or any of the school board that doesn't know, FFA is a huge part of agri-science education, which is actually teaching agriculture concepts within the classroom here at Marshall Public Schools. The past 4 years, we've been working extremely hard to rebuild the program, and I think we've done a great job. A little bit about the numbers and some of the background, because everybody loves data and numbers. Currently, we have a total of 170 students at Marshall Public Schools enrolled in agri-science education, which is kind of crazy and huge and wonderful and leaps and bounds from where we were just a few years ago. There are currently 152 in the high school, and then we now are in the second year of offering a middle school rotation class. We're still working out the kinks, but we're getting there, and that's proving to be a very good asset and a good part of the program. Our membership data specifically for the Marshall FFA, which is an intercurricular part of the agri-science education as a whole. Basically, the kids can join at any time, and the roster runs the same as the school year. So you join at the beginning of the school year, and it runs through. Back in 2015, 2016, we ended the year with 32, and that's kind of where we were at our kind of low point and kind of working on rebuilding. Last year, at the end of the year, we ended up with 88, and this year we're currently at 63, but I'm confident we will be increasing. And a year ago at this time, we were at 46, so there's an obvious growth there, but it's kind of misleading sometimes when you look at the numbers in the fall versus the spring. And as the year goes by, the kids are ramping up for different competitions and have different reasons why they want to join. So things are looking very well, and now the kids are going to take it away and talk about the future.
So the National FFA Convention is held in Indianapolis, Indiana. There's a total of 69,000 attending, 90% FFA members, 10% adults. This is one of the world's largest youth conventions. FFA members that we brought to the National Convention were Alec Burkwald, Austin Burkwald, Sam Kiesling, Caitlin Mesker, Austin Munson, Maddie Pritchard, and Aubrey Richardson, and Emma Rudicelli. Both me and Josie Herman earned the American Farmer degree this year. Only 1% of FFA members earn this degree.
That's a huge accomplishment. Last year we did have one that was our first one American degree, kind of as a part of the rebuild. Because for years with the program in the situation it was, we actually didn't have any that applied. So pretty awesome and pretty exciting.
Okay, day one, we visited UNO, or the University of Northwestern Ohio. They took us on a tour throughout the campus, and we got to see their different workshops, and they taught us like what you can, other programs you can do. And then we also went to the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force, and there was different buildings where they had there's one for World War I aircraft, World War II, and they had some for the spaceships, and there's presidential planes we could go in. On day two, we visited the Indianapolis Zoo. We got to pet sharks. Then after that, we went to Beck's Hybrids and went on a tour throughout their buildings and learned how they sort their seeds and get where they get. And we also went to the National FFA Center, and there's a brick in the top corner. And we went to the radio.
Wow, full day.
Yeah.
Alright, so day 3, we got up in the morning, went to our opening session. This year at opening session, we got to celebrate 50 years of women in FFA.
And kind of a cool thing up in the upper left-hand corner there is Robert Craig, who actually was a national FFA officer and from Michigan, and he actually made one of the votes and the motions to actually allow women to join, so it was pretty cool. And then they invited him back, this is him now, they invited him back as a part of the ceremony, so it was kind of a neat feature.
So day 3, we went to the career show. There's a lot of different vendors there. There's a lot of cool things. We got to learn a lot from the different vendors, so. And then we went to the Agri Science Fair, and then Ag Issues, and we did a little bit of shopping in the FFA Mall. And then we went to the escape room, which we did not make it out of.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah,
It was
it was
really fun.
interesting. And then we did some more agri-science fair, and then this was our last day, so we kind of wound down with some shopping at the FFA Mall again, so. And this was, what was it? Yeah, our state photo. And then we did some more workshops in the career show.
So, this is, me and Josie Herman, after we earned our our American FFA degree. To earn the American FFA degree, we had to have 10,000 earned or invested in SAE projects. Yeah. Thank you for your continual support of the agri-science education in Marshall Public Schools and for Marshall FFA.
Does anybody have any questions?
That's good for your project.
You had a couple slides on there that said FFA Mall. What's the FFA Mall?
So, it's like a huge room in the convention center, and it's literally, there's like different type of vendors in there, like, gosh, I don't know, there was just a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot to take in. I don't even think we made it around the whole entire thing. There was like, Carhartt was there, there's like a bunch of different areas, like a boot brand, there's just a lot of different things there, so.
Does the convention like that open up your all's concepts of like career opportunities and stuff that are out there? Do you feel like it really gives you guys more idea of what really is out there for you?
I do. me a better idea of what I wanna do later in life.
There are many like colleges that are offering like degrees, and then also like workforces that you can like check out and see what they do.
Awesome.
Yeah, a whole section of the career show is all just colleges, so.
Great.
I was fortunate enough to go to FFA convention actually with Mr. Dent sitting in the hall there. Probably 7 years ago. It was eye-opening for me because I think growing up, FFA, you think it's farmers and that, but the pieces that you saw, the public speaking and these kids the kids were more polished speakers than, politicians and others that you see. It was really amazing. And the idea of having 69,000 kids in one city, you think it'd just be mass chaos, but absolutely everything went off without a hitch and kids were well behaved. It was an awesome experience. If anybody ever gets a chance to go down there, it'd be well worth it, so.
We do have a school officials trip every year, so if anybody is interested, contact me, and we do have sponsorship, so it's free to the district, so please let me know if you're interested. It's usually a 2-day trip.
It is,
so, yeah.
It was well worth it.
So the national was it degree or certification?
It was a degree.
American degree is what we call it, yep.
You said 10,000?
Yeah.
That's how much you had to raise or
invest.
Or invest.
SAE.
And what else distinguishes you to get the American award?
I have to I have to take all the classes, agriculture classes, and then compete in competitions.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah, you have to do so many outside of Marshall too. Like there's ramifications and community service hours. So
Yeah, that's great.
it's an online application. It's pretty neat.
Good deal.
Anybody else?
Thrilled to see what you've done with the program, and thrilled to see the growth of the program. We got close to not having a program. It's fantastic to see where it is today. Well done to all of you guys. All the alumni that are not here that make you watch, but thanks for all the things they do as well. It's a great program.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, move on to AP grading scale.
I'm gonna have Dave Turner.
Right.
Dave Turner.
Giddy up.
You received an email from one of our students at the Math Science Center asking generally if we can reconsider or consider, like other schools, to give a different grading scale for Math Science Center coursework. And so Dave's going to present what his findings were.
Sure. So as Dr. Davies mentioned, there was a student from the Math Science Center that asked a question if we're able to provide a 5-point scale or an alternate grading scale. If a student earns an A, it's an A. If they earn a B, it moves up to an A. A C is a B. A D is an E, but an A would be the ceiling. And so I said that we need to find out what the other schools are doing. The student in question thought that other schools had the opportunity for they were providing a 5-point scale or an alternate assessment for any course beyond just the AP classes. So I had one of our counselors call. We talked to Harbor Creek, Lakeview, Olivet, over here Battle Creek, Penfield. Of course, we know what our standards are, and what we were able to find out was that only AP classes were students able to earn a 5-point scale. And that AP class, whether it was held in their home district or whether it was at the Math Science Center, those are the only classes where students could get a 5-point scale. Honors classes, like we offer, at a 4-point scale, just like any other honors classes, and that is the same at all of the other schools. Dual enrollment, so students taking college classes. All of those schools, it's only a 4-point scale. We are the only district that provides a 5-point scale for a course that's a 200 level or higher. So in talking with our counselors, we're discussing whether or not we need to maintain that again for next year. Now, of course, this year, any student that has dual enrollment, they signed up knowing full well and thinking that they were going to get that 5-point scale. But in our discussions, we thought, well, the benefit of the dual enrollment is you get college credit on our dime. That's the incentive. We don't necessarily need to have another incentive, such as a 5-point scale for that class or for the college class. So that's something that we're thinking about for next year. So at this point, we're going to maintain 5-point scale for AP classes, whether they're housed here at Marshall or Battle Creek Math Science Center. And we're going to, all of our honors classes, whether at Math Science Center or other classes, will only be on a 4-point scale, which is consistent with all of our neighboring school districts.
And just to underscore, Dave said maintain because we've been doing that. So the counselors have a list of the AP courses offered through the Math Science Center, along with the AP courses we offer at the high school.
So I'm guessing, so years ago, we talked about this on the dual enrollment, and at the time, there were not nearly as many classes that students were taking, and it was a lot easier for us to review the curriculum and make sure that we felt it was an appropriate class, and appropriate level class and things like that. I'm guessing that's much more difficult to almost impossible now with
we're
the
not
number of
able,
offerings.
correct, we are not able to vet all of those courses to determine whether or not they are AP or 5-point scale worthy or not. So students, we want to encourage students to do the dual enrollment. We just didn't feel like the double bonus is not necessary for those students. So if they want to take it, get your college paid for, which is why you're doing it. Doesn't need to be a 5-point scale.
A lot of the courses now for dual enrolled or universities online and so forth, it's very difficult to look at their syllabus and challenge the integrity of that with 200 or higher. Used to be where we actually knew the people that were actually teaching the course, could look at the syllabus and challenge back whether this 300 class was really a 300 level class or not. We don't do that anymore. We had over 400 dual enrolled classes taken last year at the high school. So that's beyond pale on what we can chase after and figure out.
So if you do decide, so at this point, you're still just evaluating the dual enrollment, going to a 4-point, or is that, are you saying that's what you're going to?
That's the direction that we want to go. And I'm still figuring out what is the official process at the high school that we have to use, whether it's board approved or whether we can arbitrarily just make that decision unilaterally. I don't know.
Okay.
Ultimately, we've got to make some form of a decision by February, March, because that's when students are going to start selecting their courses for next year.
And it has to go in the handbook as well.
Correct, which that's not approved until June.
Okay.
Well, May or June.
You mentioned one student brought this up. Was because they brought it up, was it just you guys were curious as well because we hadn't really investigated other schools and kind of what other people were doing? Was there no set standard for that, I guess? So you guys wanted to make sure we were kind of in line with everyone else?
I like to encourage when students have the gumption to do that. I think that's fine. We've been operating with the understanding that I sit on the advisory board for the Math Science Center ever since we became a member with Marshall Public Schools. And I thought we were in line with everybody else, but when it was said that they thought other schools were doing it, I was a little surprised by that, so that's why I asked David to look into it.
I just thought it was, as a student to mention something and to put that effort into it. It's commendable to make sure we got it right.
Right.
Sharp student, absolutely. Ultimately, being new at the high school is a great opportunity for me to ask why. Why do we have 5-point for dual enrollment? And honestly, I talked to the staff there, they didn't know. So it's, I don't know when that decision was made before I was there. So anyways, great opportunity for us to ask why we're doing what we're doing. Is it the right thing to do? Is it consistent with neighboring schools? Are we competitive with other schools? Are we being more difficult than our neighboring schools? Or those are the kinds of things that we need to figure out. And of course, we did talk with the Math Science Center to get an understanding of how they wanted to function and operate with us as well, and they fully support what we're currently doing.
Awesome. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Giddy up.
Thanks, David.
Move on to facility needs assessment update.
Okay. In your board package, you had the Facility Needs Assessment Committee report. Because of this inclement weather and the delay on 1 week later, these reports are a little dated. We had another meeting since then, and those minutes will be coming out very quickly because of what I'm gonna ask you at the end of this little report. Highlights are really important to see that the way we've set this up is the core committee takes a look at, first off, we agreed that in our timeline we'd slow it down. We talked about that in the last board session. We also look at and report back out what we're hearing in the community. And so each person is able to talk about that and different comments that are flying around. Sometimes they have substance, sometimes they don't, but you want to hear it and make sure everybody's on the same page with what we've heard. Just as an anecdote, you'll see additional comments made in this running list as we go meeting to meeting. It looks like we're going to be heading quickly through the needs assessment piece of this. We're looking at inviting other thought leaders into the process for talking about wants and wishes sometime in December as a kickoff. So that's when we pretty much open that up to a whole lot of other folks that have been wanting to be on that and now can be on that. We went through we had some really great people on the core committee, worked through the needs assessment quickly. Right now we're prioritizing needs assessment. And then as we prioritize it, we're going to be taking a look at what can we get done now out of the existing dollars we have, either from the existing sources that we have, and then what has to be in our vision as we move forward along with what our wants and wishes will be. And so we're gonna capture that. I wanted to let you know, it's not in the minutes, but I'm going to just add this as a caveat. Becky and I have been up to Truman Law Firm and with our financial advisors. What's the name of that company now again, Jesse?
Baker Tilly.
What?
Baker Tilly.
Baker Tilly. I keep on missing that. Baker Tilly is our financial advisors, and they have some recommendations. They've gone through legally and taken a look at where we're currently standing. They're going to write an opinion paper about where we're at with our process, as it looks like we're moving forward towards possibly a bond vote in the future. And it's no doubt we're going to have to get there. It's just a matter of when we're going to get there and what we're going to be looking for. But we haven't pulled that trigger. I let go of the placeholder meeting with Treasury this year because we didn't want to rush into this. We wanted to slow it down. But I think it behooves us to have the Truman Law Firm come down and give in the special meeting closed session an update to the board so you understand some of the dynamics that we're dealing with under this unique situation of annexation 3 years later. So what we'd like to do is have a special meeting for the purpose of going into closed session only, and that would be on the 26th of November, which is a Tuesday before the holiday weekend. I'd like to know if we can have a quorum for that meeting, and we're talking about like 5:30, trying to get it done within an hour.
Be at Disney.
Pardon me?
I'll be at Disney.
Yeah, I'll have to update you before you go.
All right.
All right? Yeah? Larry, yes?
Yeah.
Carrie?
I probably could.
Pardon me?
I probably could.
Yeah, Brent?
I think so.
Shauna? How we looking? I hope so.
On schedule.
What time were you thinking?
5:30? In and out?
So 3 to 5 hours?
Yeah. She'll only be an hour. It's interesting stuff. I think it'll be important information for you to have. Yes. I'll send a packet out in preparation for that so you can read what we have behind it, and then we can have a good discussion. Now I'll share that if it's okay with you with Richard before he goes to Disney, so he has that concept in his mind.
Okay.
All right?
So that's for Truman to come down and talk to us a little bit more.
From a legal perspective about our circumstances.
And would that will actually be an open meeting, right?
No, it'd be closed.
Okay.
It'll be legal counsel. They're actually drawing up a document now that kind of outlines some of our conversations that we had up in Lansing. Okay? And we will not be taking any action in that meeting, we're just hearing from our legal advisors.
I'll just add, I think we have a really engaged group. I think everybody in the committee has done a tour of all the buildings. I think everybody's made it through, right? So I think there've been a couple tours in that, so it's been a good process so far, and we'll meet on the 25th and start talking next steps after that.
Yep.
Same. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, move on to leadership team reports.
So in your package, you have our leadership team reports. Love all the pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Halloween pictures are great.
Good stuff. Any comments that you have or any questions that you may have?
I just want to point out that our athletic teams this fall, all of them, just amazing, just so much success in our district, so.
I was impressed with the academic awards that they're receiving and accolades they're receiving for that as well. So good stuff. Any other comments?
Thank you again for submitting those to us. Okay, we'll move on to discussion, board policy updates. First read tech phase 4 2018 or 218, volume 31.2 ESSA 217, volume 31.1, volume 30.2 special release, 1016 info and tech, MI phase 1 special release 116. I'm going to do one at a time or do them both? I guess the other one's board policy updates, second read, volume 33.1, volume 32.2, volume 32.1, and special update October 2019.
Yeah, so item B is going to be discussed. Any last questions before we move to action, but we'll be then going into item 8, which is action item board policy, where we'll be adopting these, okay? But item A is a new introduction of new policies for you to review. In your packet, you should have a list of these policies that go along with the synopsis that you have in this document here. There are some replacements, there's some new ones. You'll see a couple. There's one that was deleted because it's archaic now on health insurance benefits with the insurance policy changes that occurred in federal government. You'll see a number of policies that have either been rejected by the superintendent or rejected by the director of business operations. Again, remember, if we reject them, they go into a file, and those can be possible that we go back and review them again. Should other legislation occur or other legal actions occur that require us to take a look at those again, or possibly they get renewed or revised by Neola, then it comes back to us and we may reconsider, okay? But this is the next group that we want you to look at. We're gonna put them, make them available in the office, and we can talk through them in the next board session, I believe.
That's when we would look to take action in the next board session.
I believe, Kimberly, aren't we?
This is just first read.
Yeah, this is just first read. So we do a second read and then we do a action, right?
So it'll be the next in December.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions on the first, on A, the new ones that we need to review and read?
It's a lot of reading.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of reading.
It is. Don't let your eyes glaze over. Just for the good of the board, though, Carrie did ask before the board meeting, Carrie, if you don't mind, just a clarification on the weapons policy. A lot of those suggested additions and so forth that Neola was saying, you probably shouldn't go down that path. I've reviewed those. You'll see those in the document. You'll see they've been X'd out. We're not going to be adopting those additional languages. It's going to be pretty consistent with the way we've been practicing all along.
Any other questions before we go to B? Okay, and B, this is our second read. So this is the one that was in front of us last month, or last month, right now.
So, volume 33.1, 33.2, 32.1, and special update for October 19. They've been sitting there, you've had a chance to review them. We've gone through and reviewed them again just to make sure that they're all set and we're feeling confident to move forward with recommendation for action.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to action item board policy revisions and updates, volume 33.1, volume 32.2, volume 32.1, and special update October 2019.
At the October 28 business session, the board discussed recommendations received from Neola for update to specific board policies in volume 34.1 and volume 33.2. These policies are being presented tonight for adoption, board adoption. These policies have been available for public review in the superintendent's office since October 14, 2019. It's a recommendation of the superintendent, the action item be approved.
May I entertain a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll start with Shauna.
Yes.
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 Move down to action item financial resolution for the collection of summer taxes. Becky, you want to give it back then?
Becky, you want to give this?
Yeah. A district that has previously authorized the summer tax levy, which is to continue with that authorization for the 2019 tax year, must adopt a resolution to determine continue the summer tax levy and file a copy of that resolution with the taxing authority by January 1st, 2020. The proposed resolution is consistent with the district's past practice of collecting 50% of the school tax levy in the city of Marshall, and Fredonia Township. All of the other taxing authorities will continue to collect 100% during that winter levy. It is the recommendation of the superintendent that action item financial be approved as presented.
I have a motion, please.
Support.
Discussion?
So it's no change, it's the continuation of what we've always had.
Yes.
Correct. We're just required to have it come in front of us each year. Anything else?
Is there ever a time when this has to be like sent back to taxpayers to be renewed or anything, or is this?
This is part of the 18 mills non-homestead that we collect through the taxpayers.
So you do it in two separate.
And so we, for cash flow purposes, we collect from Marshall City, Marshall and Fredonia Township in the summer, so we get that money up front rather than collecting it in the winter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Start with Brent?
Yes.
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 Okay. We'll move on to public comments. Anybody can speak to the board, and we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Seeing none, we'll move on to board member comments for which no action may be taken at this meeting. I'll just throw. A couple weeks ago, Carrie, Randy, and I went to the CASBA meeting, and it was actually attorney that came in from MASB and actually did a nice job of talking about Open Meetings Act and that. So I have the overhead. I'm going to make copies for all you guys, and just so you have it. And it was actually a pretty interesting discussion, and we're going to have some conversations about changing some of our language that we have in our agenda, just to help meet some of the pieces that were talked about there. So.
I had, and I don't know if this is something that should be brought up. A lot of people are concerned about the school date with the Fair Week. Is there anything in regards to that being talked about or discussed, or?
Yeah, I just sent out a message out to the board, just for read only.
Okay.
And I brought it up to superintendents last week. Only the Calhoun County superintendents, Branch County and Berry County are not involved in that with the waiver. They agreed with my recommendation that we move it from the 19th of August to the 26th of August, which is a Wednesday. That will be the first day of instruction for students for the 2021 school year. They also agreed with my recommendation that we use the formula of 7 days prior to the Labor Day weekend of Friday through Monday for Labor Day. So 7 days prior to that Friday will be the formula that we use each time, no matter what the calendar looks like.
Gotcha.
And that way we can be consistent with the times that we're trying to schedule for days of instruction in first semester versus second semester. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for your efforts on that. That was a great piece. So.
It's nice to have something consistent from year to year, so we don't keep running into that problem with the fair.
Yep. And you know that first day of instruction is the key date for a common calendar that we are all by law required to follow, so.
Any other questions, comments?
I just want to say it's nice to see Ms. Herman's class here again in the audience, so you guys picked a good night. This is a short meeting.
Okay, that's it. Anybody else? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Great.